Shalom, shalom. We continue in Berakhos. We are on Daf Samach Amud Aleph. We are on the first very wide line, which is the 20th line on the Amud. And we're going to go through the entire and finish at the very bottom. So the Gemara is now going back to the Mishnah on Nun Daled Amud Aleph, where the Mishnah said, Mivarech al hara'a me'ein ala tova. A person should make a bracha on the bad, even if it'll eventually become good. Gemara asks, Hechi dami. So what's such a case where there's such a thing which starts off as bad and it becomes good? Kigon de shakal bitka ba'are. For example, if there's a big flood that inundates his entire land, even if it'll eventually be good for him because the land will soak in the water and the nutrients and will grow better in the future. Demaska ara shirtin v'shivcha hashta, because as I just said, the land will soak in the nutrients and it'll be better, more fertile land in the future. Miha rahi. But now it's something bad. Therefore now he says a baruch dayan ha'emes. Next part of the Mishnah, va'al hatova, and on something good, me'ein al hara, even if it'll eventually be bad. Same question, hechi dami. What's such an example of such a thing? Kigon de ishkach mitzia. If a person finds a mitzia, finds a valuable item like a purse or a lot of money, even if it'll eventually be bad for him, because if the king hears that he found such a thing, he'll take it from him, and it's also possible that the king will punish him for not giving him this very expensive find from the beginning. Hashtab, now when he finds it, miha tovahi, it's only good for him. So that is the first part of the Mishnah. And Rambam brings us down to halacha in Hilchos Brachos Perek Yud Halacha Dalid. Higia elav tova. If someone has a good thing happen to him, or sheshama shimua tova, or hears something good, afal pisha devarim marin. Even if the thing marin shetova zo tigram lo ra. Even if it appears that this good thing will cause something bad for him to happen, bad in the future, mivarech hatov hametiv. He still makes the bracha of hatov v'hametiv. V'chein, and similarly, im naga elav ra. If something bad happens to him, or he hears something bad, even if it appears that this bad thing will cause something good to happen, he still makes the dayan ha'emes. Because we don't make the bracha on the future, on what the future will be, but we make the bracha on what happened right now. So brachos are what is immediately in front of you. The Gemara goes on and quotes the next part of the Mishnah. V'hatzoek l'sha'avar. If somebody cries about something that already happened, so the first line, the lines we just did are about the future. We don't make brachos on the future. So here, hatzoek l'sha'avar. If somebody makes a tefillah on something that already happened in the past, harezeh tefillah shav. This is a tefillah in vain. And the Mishnah gives a few examples, and here's the first one. If a person's wife is pregnant, the Omer, and a person says, and he prays that it should be your will that my wife should give birth to a boy. That is a tefillah shav, tefillah in vain. So the Gemara asks the question, doesn't that tefillah work? Masav Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef raised the following objection. Said, V'achar yalda bas v'tikra eshma dina. This is quoting the pasuk in Bereshis where Leah gave birth to Dinah, the only of Yaakov's daughters. It says Va'achar yalda bas, after she gave birth to a daughter, Vatikra eshma Dinah. She called her name Dinah. So the question is, my Va'achar? Why does the pasuk say Va'achar? It could have just said Yalda bas Vatikra eshma Dinah. It didn't need the word Va'achar. So what is that word teaching us? Amar Rav explains Va'achar shedana Leah din ba'atzma va'amra. After Leah made a judgment on herself, and she said, Yud beis shvatim asidim letzeis miYaakov. There are going to be 12 shvatim that come from Yaakov. Now, if you do the math, or you work it out in the psukim, by the time Dinah was born, she was the, I believe, 12th child. So, or the 10th or the 11th child. Either way, all of the children of Leah and the two Shivchos had already been born. So at least 10, and possibly Yosef was already born. I don't remember, but Binyamin for sure was not born yet. So there are going to be 12 Shvatim that come from Yaakov. Shisha yatsu mimeni. 6 have already come from me. Va'arba mina shvachos, and 4 are going to come from the Shivchos. So Hare Asara, that's 10 of the 12. Im zeh zachar, if I give birth to another boy, if this child is another boy, lo tehei achotzi Rachel ke'achas hashivchos. Then my sister Rachel will not even have as many shvatim come from her as the shivchos. So miyad nehafechas labas. So instantly, this boy was changed to a girl. So Dina was originally a boy and changed to a girl. Shenamar, as it says, v'dikra es shema Dina. Dina. That Leah called her name Dina. And Dina means judgment. So this is the background that the Gemara is giving for this. Now, of course, Yosef, right, during when towards the end of Yaakov's life, Yosef said that Yaakov said that Yosef will become Menashe and Ephraim and become 2 shvatim. So in the end, Rachel actually had 3 shvatim come from her and had more than the shivchos. But nevertheless, this is what the Gemara says here. So the Gemara, so the whole point of all this is to say that clearly tefillos, after the child's gender has already been decided, they work. That the child's sexual orientation can, not sexual orientation, rather their gender can change after the woman has already conceived. So the Gemara refutes this. Ein maskirin ma'aseh nisim. You can't mention a nace, can't mention a miracle. That doesn't prove the rule. That's an exception. The definition of a miracle is that that's not the natural order. That is the exception, and we can't cite a proof from such a story. V'bayis ema, and if you want, you can also say another answer, that ma'aseh delea besoch arba'im yom haba, that the story of Leah happened within the first 40 days. Kidetanya, as we learned in a brisa, shlosha yamim harishonim, during the first 3 days after a person has been after conception, Yivakesh Adam Rachamim Shlo Yasriach. A person can daven that the child will not, that the zera, the seed, will not just go bad, that it'll actually conceive in his wife. Mishloshav Arabayim, from the third day until 40 days. Yivakesh Rachamim Shehe Zachar. He can daven that it'll be a boy. Me'arbayim Yom Vad Shlosha Chadashim, from 40 days until 3 months. Yivakesh Rachamim Shlo Yehe Sandal. He can daven that it won't become a sandal or a sandal. Now, a sandal is a fish, a very flat fish. In modern Hebrew, a sandal is a flounder. And a flounder, as we see, is a very long, wide, flat fish. So Rashi explains on sandal that Shalotis Aver Ishto Vladacher, that his wife should not conceive a second child, via Poches Tsurasa Shel Rishon. And this will smush or crush or lessen the appearance of the first one. Vidoma ledag shalyam, and it's similar to the fish of the sea. Sheshmo sandal. Its name is sandal, and it might be that this sandal is referring to the flounder. I'm not entirely sure, but nevertheless, he quotes the Gemara that says that sandal doma is sandal shalyam, similar to the sandal of the sea, and we don't want a second child to come in and kind of crush the other child that was already conceived. That's what a person can daven during that time. Of course, we know today that once a woman has conceived once, she cannot conceive again until she's giving birth. But nevertheless, this was the prayer that in this brisa. Mishosha chadashim v'achisha, from 3 months until 6. Yivakesh rachim shloyeh nofel. He can daven that this shouldn't die in the womb, shouldn't be a stillborn. And mishisha v'atisha, from 6 until 9 months of the pregnancy. Yivakesh rachim sheyetze b'shalom. He can daven that the baby will come out in peace. So at each stage, a person can daven relevant to that stage. You cannot retroactively ask, like in the 7th month, a person cannot ask, please Hashem, let my child not be a nafal. If the child had already died, it's done. You can't pray for a miracle. So after 6 months, this is the person can daven that the baby comes out benachas, peacefully, but that's the extent of the prayer that he can make at that point. And do these prayers actually work? That the child should become a boy within the first 40 days? V'hamar Rabbi Yitzchak B'rei Rav Ami. Rav Yitzchak, the son of Rav Ami, said, Ish mazriat chila yoledis nekeva, that if the man is the first to emit seed, I guess we say, if he reaches his climax first, then yoledis nekeva, she will give birth to a girl. Isha mazra'as tchila. But if the woman reaches her climax first, yoledis zachar, then it'll be a boy. Shenemar, as it says, Isha kit hazriya v'yolda zachar. that if a woman has a child, is inseminated, the child will be a boy. So it seems that the Isha was Mazria first. She was inseminated before she reached her climax. He did. The Yelda Zachar, she had a boy. Now the context there is a little bit different, and look it up. It's in Vayikra Parak Yud Beis, but this is how the Gemara is using this pasuk here. So Hachab Mayaskinan, what are we dealing with over there? Kigon Shehazriu Shnehem Bebas Achas, that they both reached their climax at the same time, and a person doesn't know who was first or who was second, or maybe neither was first or second. And in such a case, a person can daven for a son. So really quickly, when is the sex of the child actually determined, according to modern science? It says over here, it says up until about 7 to 8 weeks of pregnancy, both the male and female children are the same. They have an identical preliminary set of genitalia that will eventually differentiate to become either male or female sex organs. That means that all our sex organs come from the same foundations. The testes in men are equivalent to labia and ovaries in women, and the penis is the equivalent of the clitoris. So all of the organs essentially start off in exactly the same way. And the article goes on to say that sex organs generally develop between weeks 7 and 12. I'm going to link this article in the sources on this video. And so the Gemara put it at 40 days, and it wasn't that far off. For 7 to 12 weeks is 49 days to 84 days. So 40 days to determine the sex of the child is pretty close to what modern science says it is today. The Gemara goes on to the next part of the Mishnah. Haya Baba Derech, if someone comes from a journey, Vishama called Socha Ba'ir, and he hears a very loud screaming or crying in his city. Ve'omer, and he says, here it's on Shalotehe Besoch Beisi. It should be a rule that such screaming did not come from my house. Harezu Tefillah Shav. That is a tefillah in vain, because the screaming already happened. Whoever screamed already screamed. You can't pray retroactively. It wasn't from your house. Tanar Rabbanan, the rabbis taught. Ma'aseh Behil Hazaken. There was a story with Hil Hazaken, Shahaya Baba Derech, that he came from a long journey. Bishama called Socha Ba'ir. He heard a big scream in his city. Amar, he said, Muftachani she'ein zeh besoch beisi. I am certain that did not come from my house. V'alav akasev omer, and this is what the pasuk says: Mishmoa ra'a lo yira, that from evil hearing or bad news, lo yira he will not be afraid. Nachol mibo batoch b'Hashem, a person with a straight heart who trusts in Hashem. Amar Rava, and Rava says, Kol hechig darash lahai kra. Any way you explain this pasuk, it makes sense. Mireshe l'seife madrish, you can explain it from the beginning to end, and miseife l'reshe madrish, you can explain it from the end to the beginning. Mireshe l'seife madrish, from beginning to end, you can explain the following way: Mishmua ra'a lo yira, that a person will not be afraid of evil hearings. Matam, what's the reason? Because nachon libo, his heart was nachon, was correct, but tarach Hashem, and he trusted in Hashem. And miseife l'reshe madrish, you can understand it from the end to the beginning. Why? Nachon libo b'torach Hashem. If someone's heart is nachon, is correct, and he trusts in Hashem, mishmor ra'a lo yira, then for sure he will never hear or will never be afraid of in evil hearings. Hahu tamida dehavaka azil basrei Rav Yishmael b'rei Rabbi Yossi or b'Rabbi Yossi. There was a certain student that was walking after Rabbi Yishmael, the son of Rabbi Yossi, B'shuka de Tzion, in the shuk, the marketplace of Tzion, and Chazed de Kamafchid, and Rabbi Yishmael saw that the student was very afraid. Amr Lein, he told him, Chata'at, you're a sinner. You can't be afraid here. Dichsiv, it says, Pachto b'Tzion Chata'im, that the sinners are the ones who are afraid in Tzion. Amr Lein, so the student answered, Vaksiv, it says in another pasuk, Ashrei Adam Mefached Tamid, that the praiseworthy person is always afraid. Amar Lei, so Rabbi Yishmael explained, Tahu b'divrei Torah ksiv. That's only referring to divrei Torah. Only in divrei Torah should a person be afraid all the time. He should be afraid to keep the mitzvahs properly, that he's learning the right way, that he's doing dinim the right way, that he's judging people in the correct manner, but not in other things. Other things, only sinners are afraid. Yehuda bar Nasan hava shakil va'azil basir Rav Hamnuna. Yehuda bar Nasan, was not Rav. He was walking after Rav Hamnuna, and Isnach, and he sighed. Amr Le, Rav Hamnuna said to him, Yisurim ba'e hahu gavra la'asuya nafshe. This person wants to bring Yisurim on himself, wants to bring big suffering on himself. It says, Ki pachat pecharati, v'ye asayeni, v'asher yugurasi yavoli. That the thing which I did, the thing which I was afraid of, it came upon me. And the thing that I was worried about has overcame me. Yavoli has come to me. Vaksiv, and so the Rabbi Yehuda Bar Nassan said back, Vaksiv, but it's written in the other pasuk, Asher Adam mefachet, Ashrei Adam mefachet tamid, that a person who's always afraid is praiseworthy. Answer the Rav Hamnun gave, same answer as Rabbi Yishmael, Hahu b'divrei Torah ksiv. That's only referring to divrei Torah. Next part of the Mishnah. Last part for today. Hanichnas lekrach, someone who enters a city, mispalal shtayim, should say 2 tefillos. Achas bichnisaso, one when he enters the city, v'achas bitziaso, and one when he leaves the city. Ben Azai omer arba, and Ben Azai would say 4 tefillos. Shtayim bichnisaso, 2 when he entered, the shtayim bitziaso, and twice when he left. No sin hoda al sha'avar, he would give thanks for what happened. Vitzoek al ha'asid, and he would daven or ask, scream about, or beg Hashem for the future. So this entire Mishnah has been talking about different types of tefillos and how they relate to time in terms of past, present, future, and when it's appropriate to do which types of tefillos. So generally, a person should give hoda'ah on the past, and he should daven about the future. A person should not daven for the past. That is a tefillas shav, as we learned already in multiple examples. Tana Rabbanan, the rabbis taught, what should a person say when he enters the city? He should say, Hashem Elokai, should be your will, Hashem, that you should enter me, or should bring me into the city in peace. Nichnas, and when he's actually inside, when he goes into the city, Omer, you should say, Moda ani lefnecha Hashem Elokai, I am Moda, I give thanks to you, Hashem, that you took me into the city in peace. Bikesh Litzeis, and when he's ready to leave, Omer should say, Hashem our God of our fathers, that you should take me out of the city in peace. And Yatza, when he leaves, Omer should say, should be thank you, Hashem, my God, that you took me out of this city in peace. And just as you brought me out in peace, you should also guide me on my way in peace, and support me in peace, and should make my footsteps go in peace. And you should save me from all enemies and ambushes on the road. And that's the bracha that a person should make, or the tefillah that a person should say as he leaves the city. Amr Rav Masna, and Rav Masna said, Lo shana ela b'krach she'ein danin v'hargen bo. That's only referring to a city where they do not judge people and they kill them. So it's only referring to a city where a person goes where they kill people without a trial. So if a person is entering North Korea, this is the correct tefillah that he should say. Aval b'krach she'danin v'hargen bo. But in a city where they have judges and only then they kill people, leis lamba. This does not apply. The person does not need to ask for such mercy in a city which has a legal system, according to Rav Masna. Ikeda Amri and other reports of what Rav Masna actually said. Rav Masna said, Afilu bikrach shedanin v'hargen bo. Even if a person is entering a city that has a legal system and they only kill people after a court case, zimnin delo mitramne leinish diyalef lezehusa. There are times that a person won't find someone to plead in his defense. A person won't be able to find a lawyer, and in that case, even in a city where they have courts and judges, if you don't have the right lawyer, still it could be dangerous. So better to make the bracha even in such a city. Tana Rabbanan, the rabbis taught, Hanichnas lebes hamerchatz, that if someone goes to a bathhouse, Omer should say, Yiratzon l'fanecha Hashem Elokai, that should be your will, Hashem my God, shetatzileni mizeh umikiyotzibo, that you should save me from this and from things like it. The al ye'arabi dvar kilkala the avon, and there should not fall upon me any shame or sin. The im ye'arabo davar kilkala the avon, and if there is some sin or failing within me, then my death should atone for all of my sins. And Amar Abaya says, Lo lema inashachi, a person should not say that, should not say the end, that if I have sins, my death should atone for my sins. Why? Liftach pumei l'satan, because you should not open the mouth of the Satan. And if a person brings up his averos, that kind of opens up the mouth of the Satan. So why would a person say this before entering a bathhouse? Well, this is kind of what a Roman bathhouse looked like. And we see all these pillars and lots of places where a person can slip and fall, kind of like a modern day swimming pool. And it was quite deep. Ancient Roman bathhouse was about 1.5 meters deep, which today is about 5 feet. And it could have been even deeper than that. So just like a swimming pool where a lot of dangerous things could happen, and also it was hot water, then, and I'm sure there weren't always lifeguards on duty. People would go and just do their own thing. So in such a situation, a person had to ask for extra protection from Hashem at that time. Now, going back to what Abaya said, that a person should not open the mouth of the Satan, the Amar Reish Lakish. The Reish Lakish said, V'chein Tana Mishmei de Rav Yossi. And we also learned in the name of Rav Yossi, V'olam al yiftach adam piv l'Satan. A person should never open the mouth of the Satan. Amar Rav Yosef, and Rav Yosef said, or he asked, my Kara, what's the pasuk that teaches us this idea? The chsiv, as it's written, Kim'at kisdom hayinu la'amora daminu. That it's as if we were like Sodom, and we were similar to Amorah. Sodom and Amorah obviously were the cities that Hashem destroyed in Bereshis. And the whole pasuk is from Yeshaya Perek Aleph Halacha Tes. Lule Hashem Tzvakos, if not for Hashem Tzvakos, Hotir Lanu Sarid, who left us some remnant. Kim'at Kisdom Hayinu, we would have been like Sodom. La Amorah Damino, and we would have been like Amorah. We would have been compared to Amorah in terms of our destruction. So here Yeshaya is opening like the mouth of the people who are saying this, opening the mouth of the Satan by saying we would have been similar to Sodom and Amorah. We were like those sinners. So that's this idea. They did something bad. And my ahadra lehu navi. What did the navi respond in the very next pasuk? Shimu dvar Hashem. Listen to the word of Hashem. Kitsine Sodom. You rulers of Sodom. So because they themselves opened themselves up for that response, this is how he responded. He gave them the same response that they opened themselves up to. So all in all, a person should not bring up their own failings and should not open up himself to bad things like this. Ki nafik my omer. When a person leaves the bathhouse, what should he say? Amar Rav Acha said, Mod ani lefnecha Hashem Elokai. I admit, or I am thanking you, Hashem, my God, Shehitzaltani min haor, that you saved me from the fire, because the bathhouses were very hot. Abahu al lebei bani. Abahu went to a bathhouse, a public bathhouse. Avchiz bei bani mitute, and the floor of the bathhouse opened up beneath him, meaning the floor essentially caved in. And Israchish Lenisa, there was a miracle that happened for him. Kam al amuda, he stood on a pillar. Shaziv, on a and Shaziv mea v'chad gavre b'chad avre, and he was able to save 101 men with one of his limbs, meaning he was holding the pillar, the floor was falling in, and he reached out and grabbed one of them, and the next one grabbed the next one, and the next one grabbed the next one. So with one of his arms holding onto the pillar, he was able to save 101 men from falling into this pit and being killed. That's how Rashi understands this Gemara. Amar Hayinu de Rav Acha, and he said this is what Rav Acha meant. The Amar Rav Acha, as Rav Acha said, Hanichnas lakizdam, someone who goes in to do bloodletting. Omer should say, Hashem Elokai, should be your will, Hashem, my God, that this action that I'm doing should be a refuah for me and I should be healed. Ki kel rofe ne'amanata, because you are a trustworthy healing God. Urufuasecha, emes, your healing is true. Lefi she'ein darkan shel bnei adam l'rafos, because it's not the way of men to heal. Ela shenahagu, but that's what we've become accustomed to doing. So there are a few ways of understanding that line. One way is that really the men are not the ones that heal, and the doctors are not the ones that heal, women also, but it's God that heals. That's one way of understanding this. And the other way of understanding this is really, it is not so, we're not allowed to go to the doctor. But because Hashem gave us permission, now we're allowed to. But really, what should we be doing? Really, we should be davening to Hashem, but only because Hashem gave us this leniency, we're allowed to go to the doctor. Now, not to go into a whole long thing about this, there are literally dozens and dozens and dozens of sources talking about how important health is and wellness, and now is not the time to go into all of them, maybe in another separate year. But the idea of being healthy and being a safe individual is so central to the entire religion. We would break Shabbos 39 different ways if there's even a suffix of potentially saving someone's life. So this is very important. One of the most important things is health, life, and wellness. And I shouldn't even have to say that. Amar Abaya says, Lo lema inashachi, a person shouldn't say this. Again, Abaya raising a problem with the Girsa. The Tani debate Rabbi Shmuel, because we learned in the school of Rabbi Shmuel, Rapo Yerape, that you should certainly heal yourself. Mikan shenitna rishus l'rofe l'rapos. Over here, the rishus, permission, was given to the doctor to heal. And that is the attitude that we take today. We go to doctors, and it's very important. When a person gets up from bloodletting, what should he say? Amar Ravacha, and Ravacha says, Baruch Rofe Chinam. Blessed is the one who heals without for free, and that's referring to Hashem. So interestingly, Rambam brings this very idea down in Hilchos Brachos, Perek Yud Halacha Chaf Aleph. He says, Hanichnas lahakiz dam. Someone goes to get bloodletting. Omer, I should say, you hear it on Ufanecha Hashem Elokai. It should be your will, Hashem my God. Shehei esek zeli l'refua, to that this operation should be a refuah, healing for me, ki rofe chinamata, because you are a free doctor. Uka sheyetze omer, and when a person gets up after the operation, he should say, Baruch atah Hashem, blessed are you Hashem, rofe chalim, the healer of the sick. So a little bit different than what the Gemara said, but nevertheless the same idea. And in Hilchos Deos, Perek Dalet Halacha Yud Ches, Rambam talks a little bit more extensively about hakazas dam, specifically about bloodletting. And this is what he says, and I think it's interesting because now we don't do bloodletting at all. And even in Rambam's day, he was a little bit suspicious about it as an efficacious procedure for anybody to do. So this is what he says. And remember, he was a doctor. Lo yargil adam lahakiz dam tamid. A person should not do bloodletting often. He should do it very infrequently. In fact, Lo yakiz ela im yiyet sarich lo b'yoser. He should not do bloodletting unless there's an extra great need for him to do it. V'lo yakiz lo b'mos hachama v'lo b'mos hageshamim. Should not do it during the dry season or during the rainy season. Ela ma'at b'mei Nisan u'ma'at b'mei Tishrei. But a few days during Nisan and a few days during Tishrei, this is exactly in the middle of the two seasons when the weather is essentially perfect. That's when a person should do hakazas dam, bloodletting. And after a person is 50 years old, lo yakiz klal, should not do bloodletting at all. V'lo yakiz adam dam v'ikanes lamerchatz b'vayam. A person should not do bloodletting and instantly go to the bathhouse, which, as we said, is also like a swimming pool. There's a lot of activity going on there, but also very hot, like a sauna. So a person should not be exposed to such high temperatures after doing bloodletting. V'lo yakiz v'yetzel haderech. A person should not do bloodletting and then go on a journey. V'lo b'yom sheyavo min haderech. And also not on the day that he came back from a journey. V'yochel v'yishta b'yom ha'hakaza pachos mima shehu ragil. Should eat and drink on that day of hakaza a little bit less than he's usually used to eating and drinking. V'yanuach b'yom ha'akaza. And he should rest on the day of bloodletting. V'lo yigav v'lo yis'amel v'lo yitayel. And he should not do very heavy exertion or activity. So what's interesting about this is very similar to what modern day medicine tells us, and doctors will tell you if you ever go to donate blood, which I highly recommend. Very, very, very important, and in some sense a very spiritually uplifting thing. Very important to donate blood for people who need it, and if you're healthy and well enough to do it, big mitzvah to do it. And they say very similar things. They don't say to eat less or to drink less. That's not something that I'm aware of that doctors say. But they do say after you give blood, you should rest. You should take it easy. You should definitely not go to work out. Should not be very hot or very cold. Should try to be as comfortable and rest and relax as much as possible. And also, if you're too old, you shouldn't do it. So this is very interesting. I found this halacha interesting about bloodletting. I just wanted to push that forward. We will continue tomorrow with the next Amud. I hope that was clear for all you guys, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.